When the pot of sin overflows, who will save us? Throughout history, the concept of sin and its consequences has been deeply embedded in human consciousness. Many cultures and religions describe sin as a growing burden, often metaphorically represented as a pot filling with wrongdoing. The belief is that when this pot overflows, consequences, sometimes divine, sometimes natural, will follow. But when the weight of sin becomes unbearable, who will save humanity? Will it be divine intervention, societal change, or individual redemption? In this detailed exploration, we will discuss the origins and meaning of the metaphor, religious perspectives on sin and redemption, historical and mythical examples of overflowing sin and its consequences, the role of justice, morality, and divine retribution, how modern society deals with moral corruption, the potential saviors, divine forces, enlightened individuals, or social reform, the meaning behind the metaphor. The phrase, when the pot of sin overflows, originates from the idea that sin accumulates over time, much like water being poured into a vessel. If not checked or emptied, the vessel eventually spills over, symbolizing a breaking point, where punishment, destruction, or redemption becomes inevitable. This metaphor is found in various religious traditions. Hinduism, the concept of karma suggests that when negative actions accumulate, consequences are bound to manifest. Lord Vishnu incarnates as an avatar whenever evil overpowers righteousness. Christianity, biblical teachings warn about the wages of sin leading to destruction, but also offer salvation through Jesus Christ. Islam, Allah is described as both merciful and just. When corruption and immorality reach their peak, divine justice intervenes. Buddhism, the cycle of suffering, samsara, continues until enlightenment is attained, cleansing the soul from accumulated sins. This metaphor isn't just about divine punishment, it also reflects the consequences of unchecked wrongdoing in human society. Religious perspectives on sin and redemption. Different faiths provide unique interpretations of sin, its accumulation, and the possibility of salvation. Hinduism, the cycle of karma and divine intervention. In Hindu philosophy, sin, pap, is countered by good deeds, punya. But when sin reaches an extreme level, divine intervention occurs. The Bhagavad Gita states, "Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and a rise in unrighteousness, I manifest myself." Bhagavad Gita 4.7. This refers to Lord Vishnu's avatars, such as Lord Krishna or Lord Rama, who appear to restore balance whenever evil dominates. The concept suggests that when human efforts fail to contain sin, the divine steps in. Christianity, sin, salvation, and judgment. Christianity teaches that all humans sin, but they can seek forgiveness through faith. The Bible warns against persistent sin, stating that it leads to destruction. However, it also emphasizes redemption through Jesus Christ. The book of Revelation describes how, at the end of times, sin will reach its peak, triggering divine judgment. Islam, mercy and punishment in balance. Islam acknowledges human imperfection but encourages repentance, tawbah. However, when sin spreads unchecked, divine punishment follows, as seen in historical events like the destruction of corrupt cities. The Quran repeatedly warns that when societies become too corrupt, divine intervention ensures justice. Buddhism, purification through enlightenment. Buddhism does not believe in divine punishment but in the law of cause and effect. Sins accumulate over lifetimes, creating suffering. However, through self-awareness, mindfulness, and good deeds, one can cleanse the soul and attain nirvana. Historical and mythological examples of overflowing sin. The Great Flood, Noah's Ark and Menos boat. In both the Bible and Hindu texts, a great flood was sent to cleanse the world when humanity's sins reached unbearable levels. Noah in Christianity and Manu in Hinduism were chosen to survive and rebuild a moral world. The fall of Sodom and Gomorrah. These biblical cities became symbols of extreme sin. When their moral corruption reached a peak, divine wrath destroyed them. This story serves as a warning about the consequences of collective immorality. The Mahabharata, Kali Yuga and the decline of morality. Hindu mythology describes Kali Yuga as an era where sin and corruption dominate. It is believed that when sin overflows in this era, divine intervention will restore righteousness, justice, morality, and divine retribution. Sin does not just exist in a religious context. It has real consequences in society. History shows that when injustice and corruption grow unchecked, revolutions, natural disasters, or external forces often intervene to reset the balance. How societies have dealt with overwhelming sin. Law and order. Governments establish laws to prevent crime and immorality. Social movements. When injustice prevails, people rise to demand change, e.g., civil rights movement, anti-corruption movements. Religious awakening. Revivals and spiritual movements often emerge in times of moral crisis. What happens when no one acts? When societies ignore sin, collapse is inevitable. Corrupt civilizations like the Roman Empire and Nazi Germany eventually fell due to their moral failings. Who can save us? Divine intervention. Many believe that when sin reaches its peak, divine forces intervene, either through avatars, prophets, or natural events. Moral leaders and revolutionaries. History has seen figures like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and Buddha, who emerged during moral crises to guide humanity. Individual transformation. Sin is not just a collective issue, it starts with individuals. If people take responsibility for their actions, society as a whole improves. Scientific and social progress. Advances in education, ethics, and governance can counter corruption and moral decay. Awareness and accountability play crucial roles in preventing sin from overflowing. The path to redemption. The overflowing pot of sin is a warning sign, urging action before destruction becomes inevitable. Whether through divine intervention, societal reform, or personal transformation, salvation is always possible. The key lies in recognizing the problem, seeking righteousness, and working towards a just world. Who will save us? The answer depends on whether humanity is willing to save itself before it's too late.